Afternoon, I am Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts. 1 million Lagosians cannot be wrong. Thank you for listening to Hard Facts. I've got a great show for you today, starting with the big three. Let's talk about reactions to RMAFC's salary increase for top public officials. Then let's talk about a rapist in Lagos getting sentenced to life. And then let's talk about the Sokoto State Governor's undercover inspection of a hospital. We'll bring you eyewitness at 4 o'clock. And on the big hard fact, we'll talk about water, sanitation, and hygiene in Lagos. On the step down, we'll talk a bit more. Actually, there's no step down today, unfortunately, because our friends from FB and Quest will be joining me at 6:15. But expect news, business, and sports at the top of the hour every hour. Let's get started with today's big three. Lagos, I'm Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts.
This is the Big Three.
The Big Three on Hard Facts
on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Are government officials sacrificing alongside Nigerians? I've been asking that question for the past few days. How can our justice system create better deterrents to rape? Where is the line between hands-on project monitoring and playing to the gallery? Those are your big three, Lagos. Let's talk. First story is the fallout from the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission's decision to give political office holders a 114% salary bump. So a commissioner from the commission, a federal commissioner from the commission, went on Arise TV to explain why they have made this decision to review the salaries of the president, the vice president, governors, ministers, special advisors, commissioners, National Assembly and State Assembly representatives. And here's what he had to say about the subject.
The review of this remuneration is supposed to be engaged upon by the Commission every 5 years, ordinarily. That has not been done for some reasons since 2007. This is to say, this is 15 years the salaries for political, public, and judicial office holders have not been reviewed. Now we did it. It was premised on what? The Consumer Price Index from 2008 to the year 2022 has increased scientifically by 371%. We didn't review these salaries by 371%. We engaged in public hearing. We went to all geopolitical zones. We had consultation with the stakeholders, the government, and the private sector, hearing and harnessing views from stakeholders on what increment within these years is. These two indices, the public hearing, which is subjective, and then the scientific one, the Consumer Price Index, which is objective, were combined, aggregated, and it ran up to over 200%. So based on that, in view of the economic situation in the country, we aggregated the two and we arrived at 114%. Like you rightly said, the public view that maybe the 114% is on the high side, but we will also tell you straightforward that we made consultation with the same public. In the geopolitical zones, we have video recordings of what transpired. People came, including the labor and everybody. They came, we nest the percentages and aggregated everything on each zone, and then we arrived at that. So, public opinion may differ from what you got and from what we got, but the consumer price index, like you rightly said, is affecting everybody. That is genuine. But the salaries for civil servants has been reviewed within this period of 15 years about twice. The public and the political office holders, not a single time it has been done. So if it is going to be done now, please, for God's sake, let it be genuine, let it be realistic, and let it be meaningful. If we were to be equitable and just, the salaries for civil servants have been reviewed about twice. This has not been reviewed, unless if you are saying we should not do our job, we should wait until maybe after 20 years, after 25 years. But come to think of it, don't look at the figure, 114%. How much is the annual basic salary for Mr. President, for the Vice President? The annual salary for Mr. President now is about 7.6 million annual. 7.6 annual.
Go ahead.
And it goes down through Vice President, the ministers, and then it goes down because we combine the review for the federal government with the Federal Capital Territory. That is volume 1. And it comprises, including the councillors in the FCT. The word sacrifice, let us be realistic. It is not only now. The word sacrifice is all along these 15 years that this review has not been made. That is the key word. We should be realistic. Sacrifice from day one up till now, yes, sacrifice. Sacrifice with the civil servants for 15 years. It has been reviewed twice. Sacrifice up till now. We shouldn't just do one section and then abandon one section. The good news is that the federal allocation for the federal government, the state government, and the local government has been reviewed. The review took place before we did this review for the remuneration. So there will be money for it. So I'll give a vote for yes if the people who have that poor view engage in doing so. Of course, it's realistic. Like you rightly said, the consumer price index is for everybody, private and public. And that was what we considered. And we felt, look, 371%, we shouldn't just sit, fold our arms until when the sacrificial lamb is dead or killed. We didn't increase the allowances. All what we did was increase the basic salary. And then, of course, the allowances are there the way they are. They are only commensurately percentages.
Lagos, talk to me about what you've just heard. 0700-993-993-993-01465-7190. Yes, they have recommended an increase by 114%. Yes, they understand that people are viewing this as something that is bad at the moment, but people need to understand that the salaries for public servants have not been reviewed in a long, long time. And yes, people are saying, oh, of course, we are having to sacrifice. Why aren't the public officers sacrificing? Why are we the only ones who have to sacrifice? However, they have been sacrificing for years, since 2007, 15 years. Their own salaries have not been reviewed. And please, the president's salary is 7 million naira annually. 7 million naira. Now, of course, like I said to you yesterday, now for inside the allowances, now there be the cocoa, because allowance has and he said as well, percentages of the salary. So you have 300% for furniture, you have 200% for accommodation. So whatever it is the salary is, you multiply that, that's what the public servants will get. But you've heard from the horse's mouth. That is a federal commissioner from the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. So I'm talking about Federal Commissioner Usman Hassan Mohammed Usman, Federal Commissioner Hassan Mohammed Usman. That's his name. That's who you just heard from. 0700-993-993-993, 01465-7190. Lagos, let's talk. How you doing? Talk to me.
President Sandra.
Welcome. What's your name?
Good afternoon. This is your senior special advisor.
Talk to me.
Along, it's laughable when I was hearing that man explain. Thank God for people like you, Uncle Jimmy. Since yesterday, we've been on this. And you hear from the presidency, they deny that the president never approved such, right?
He hasn't approved, but they've recommended.
Hello?
The president has not approved, but it has been recommended to the president.
That is serious. That guy should be arrested. Not this present time. Those who are jubilating, they remove subsidy. Oh, they will put the money into her. This is where the money will go now. Look at 7 million, and you are just telling for the past how many years they never increase what? They themselves should tighten their belt, not only the poor ones. You see, Professor Moluba said it, to get rich quick in Nigeria, go into politics, and that is exactly what is happening. Thank you, President Sandra.
All right. Thank you very much for calling. 99.3. Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi, I'm comrade Koboko.
Welcome.
Teacher, please pay that judge way judge that please. Help me judge 1,000 years. Make it in prison at 1,000 years. Concerning if our appointed people are sacrificing. Well, if they will sacrifice when they invest in Nigeria, like Innocent and other people. And I will tell you how they are sacrificing. They are sacrificing through their children in Western World School. They are sacrificing through going to the hospital in the Western Hall. For example, your senior brother, if Remado that left Enugu Hospital, he's supposed to have equipped for the same case that took his daughter to London. He's supposed to equip the hospital. But the liver went to London to go and send to do in daughter kidneys. Look at some people are asking in Otahia, say, they're supposed to reduce their salary. They are not increasing their salary, and they don't want to repair autoindustrial estate that 100 have shut down from 2015 till now, and they are not helping us. During COVID, they don't give us food. Last month, Nigeria evacuation in Sudan, I do not hear any government appointee or any legislators that is contributed to money to evacuate Nigerians. So how are they sacrificing? They are sacrificing to the Western world. Tomorrow you go here say London and America are better than Nigeria. Now lie. Tomorrow you go here say our Nigerians are not employable. Our geology and environment are not employable. Now lie. Now lie.
All right. Thank you very much for calling. 99.3.
Yeah, Joyce, Sandra.
Good afternoon. What's your name, sir?
Yeah, you have Mr. Mba online.
Welcome, Mr. Mba. Talk to me.
Yeah, Sandra, concerning about the argument. I'm not surprised because when we are queuing online voting them, what do we expect? So we are finished voting them. Anything they like, they can do. In as much they are not concerning for the masses. Of course, when they get there, whatever they like, they do.
All right, Mr. Mba. Thank you very much for calling. 99.3.
Hello, good afternoon, Sandra.
Good afternoon. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, ma'am.
Gozibagi. What's your name, sir?
Ezebo Madu. Igwe Victor, the merchant man.
Welcome, Igwe Victor. Talk to me.
Yeah, I greet Don on the girl from Saboyaba and the Kuboko one name. Okay, Chris, good afternoon, sir. Sandra, like Kuboko said, that man that raped the girl, he can get infinitesimal, as in he can rot in jail. I wonder where the conscience of men are when they do things that are not good to be mentioned. Then, as for those who are working on making sure their salaries are increased, this is why we have been saying it. God will bless Uncle Jimmy Disu. He has been hitting it, and some people don't want to hear it. I believe all the things we've been hearing in the last few weeks is as a result of working on our minds. Now you see the essence of why some of us have been shouting and saying it. How can, in the face of what we are passing through, you want to work on the amount of money that they receive? In fact, like I said the other day, God, if I'm coming back to Africa, make me a tree.
All right, thank you very much for calling. If you just tuned in and you're wondering what we're talking about, well, we had a federal commissioner from the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission go on Arise TV and explain this entire business with the decision to give political office holders a 114% salary bump. If you tuned in and therefore you missed a huge chunk of what he had to say on that interview, well, here you go.
You see, the review of this remuneration is supposed to be engaged upon by the Commission every 5 years, ordinarily. That has not been done for some reasons since 2007. This is to say, this is 15 years the salaries for political, public, and judicial office holders have not been reviewed. Now we did it. It was premised on what? The Consumer Price Index from 2008 to the year 2022 has increased scientifically by 371%. We didn't review these salaries by 371%. We engaged in public hearing. We went to all geopolitical zones. We had consultation with the stakeholders, the government, and the private sector, hearing and harnessing views from stakeholders on what increment within these years is. These two indices, the public hearing, which is subjective, and then the scientific one, the Consumer Price Index, which is objective, were combined, aggregated, and it ran up to over 200%. So based on that, in view of the economic situation in the country, we aggregated the two and we arrived at 114%. Like you rightly said, the public view that maybe the 114% is on the high side, but we will also tell you straightforward that we made consultation with the same public. In the geopolitical zones, we have video recordings of what transpired. People came, including the labor and everybody. They came, we harnessed the percentages and aggregated everything on each zone, and then we arrived at that. So, you know, public opinion may differ from what you got and from what we got. But the Consumer Price Index, like you rightly said, is affecting everybody. That is genuine. But the salaries for civil servants has been reviewed within this period of 15 years about twice. The public and the political office holders, not a single time it has been done. So if it is going to be done now, please, for God's sake, let it be genuine, let it be realistic, and let it be meaningful. If we were to be equitable and just, the salaries for civil servants have been reviewed about twice. This has not been reviewed, unless if you are saying we should not do our job, we should wait until maybe after 20 years, after 25 years. But come to think of it, don't look at the figure, 114%. How much is the annual basic salary for Mr. President, for the Vice President? The annual salary for Mr. President now is about 7.6 million annual. 7.6 annual.
Go ahead.
And it goes down through Vice President, the ministers, and then it goes down because we combine the review for the federal government with the Federal Capital Territory. That is volume 1. And it comprises including the councillors in the FCT. The word sacrifice, let us be realistic. It is not only now. The word sacrifice is all along these 15 years that this review has not been made. That is the key word. We should be realistic sacrifice from day one up till now, yes, sacrifice. Sacrifice with the civil servants for 15 years. It has been reviewed twice. Sacrifice up till now. We shouldn't just do one section and then abandon one section. The good news is that the federal allocation for the federal government, the state government, and the local government has been reviewed. The review took place before we did this review for the remuneration. So there will be money for it. I'll give a vote for yes if the people who have that poor view engage in doing so. Of course, it's realistic. Like you rightly said, the consumer price index is for everybody, private and public. And that was what we considered. And we felt, look, 371%, we shouldn't just sit, fold our arms until when the sacrificial lamb is dead or killed. We didn't increase the allowances. All what we did was increase the basic salary. And then, of course, the allowances are there the way they are. They are only commensurately percentages.
I'm Sandra Ezekwesili, Lagos. Let's talk about what you just heard. 99.3, hello.
Hello, Sandra.
Welcome. What's your name, sir?
So, my name is Daniel. I'm calling from Woronshoki.
Talk to me.
Please, I would like that man, that commissioner who made that statement, to leave the commissioner post and turn to be a civil servant so that his salary will be increased all the time. Because what I see that the ministers and president, the allowances, even for their visitors, they don't buy food, they don't pay for rent, they don't pay school fees, everything is free. Even though they pay them 1 million naira a day, a month, it's okay. That salary is okay for them. Anybody who say that their salary is not okay, let him resign and work in the ministry so that their salary will be okay for them, since they want to be civil servants.
All right. Thank you very much for calling. We'll take a break. When we come back from this break, we'll take more of your thoughts on that story.
Your number one station for talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
070-993-993-993-01465-7190. Hi.
Hello, Sandra.
Good afternoon.
Sorry,
What's your name,
good
sir?
afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right, though. Sandra, I want to increase my salary more than 70%. I
14.
don't have my. Anyway, Sandra,
Right.
it's funny how we ask other people to tighten their belts while they are all will be losing extra large belts.
But he also says they've been tightening their belts since 2007.
Sandra, the money they have been collecting that 2007 till date, how many teachers get that kind of money? Sandra,
That's a great
how
question.
many teachers they collect that kind of money? Teachers for ordinary school. What made our education to collapse? What made our policemen to become corrupt? Both immigration, other ranks them. Because of salary and the way they live. Sandra, look, thank God now God catch these people them. They can't expose themselves. Nigerians, how long will you people to be under the sheet of Maggie and salt?
All right, thank you very much for calling. Dio in Canada says, so they know very well the consumer price index has increased 300 folds and they want to do something about their own pay first and they care less about the masses. Nigeria will only be liberated when we know that we have a common enemy rather than playing ethno-religious politics. Now, they do not see themselves as belonging to APC, PDP, LP in those chambers. Now that money is involved. All right, Dio in Canada, thank you for your message. I've got this one here from, oh my God, I've got so many messages. Whew, all right, let's see. This one is from Fred. Fred says, Sandra, oh, hold on. Fred sends a lot of messages. All right. Sandra, his analysis is totally beep. He's talking of sacrifice, forgetting increment in salary is supposed to improve work output and improve the economy. You have a civil servant that mismanages the economy, comes on TV to say it was sacrifice. It should be real. I just to prove what the had this committee and his salary the commission. Why not just finally spoke about basic salaries without mentioning what the total monthly package will be? Some are asked to sacrifice while others are chopping the sacrifice. All right, shareholder from Festac with that message. Let me come back to you. 99.3.
Hello, Sandra.
Thanks for calling. What's your name?
How are you, Sandra? I am Altine.
Altine, welcome.
See, that commissioner, or whoever he is, it was very irritating hearing him say that. In this Nigeria of today, somebody will come to a public space and try to defend that kind of thing? How do we behave? How do we feel? How does he feel in his mind? How does his conscience tell him? Look, when I was listening to him, it's either he stands to gain something from that pronouncement or from what that analysis he's giving or whatever he did, or somebody is pushing him. Because it's just not ordinary. It is very insensitive. Honestly, it's very insensitive.
All right, Altine, thank you very much for calling. Lagos, let me bring you our second story, where we have here in Lagos, a man who has been sentenced to life imprisonment for raping his girlfriend. The judgment came on Tuesday at the Ikeja Sexual Offences and Domestic Violence Court from Justice Ramon Oshodi. The convict is Eniola Ibrahim, and according to the court, Ibrahim forced his girlfriend to have intercourse without her consent. In his defense, he said that he loves his girlfriend. And the judge responded specifically to that. The judge said, you must not hurt people that you love. The evidence in this case demonstrates that you did not just rape the victim, but you did it in a ferocious and animalistic way. You hit her on the face, which made it swollen. She had bloody eyes and swollen lips. You pinned her neck to your bed and you raped her. End quote. This judgment is sending a message to everyone. Rape is rape. It's every one of the case basis. The defendant was sentenced to life. There's been some uproar about the length of the sentence, but the judge was clear. The judge said this was a very serious crime committed with so much brutality that it deserved the maximum sentence. And many Nigerians agree. Do you agree? 0700-993-993-993. Now, beyond this sentence, how do we increase the arrests of people who rape their partners? How do we increase convictions? What do you think needs to be done to combat intimate partner rape? So rape that happens between a wife and a husband, or a girlfriend and a boyfriend. And it could be either person raping either person, you know. It could be the man raping the woman or the woman raping the man. However, we have a higher prevalence of men raping women in intimate partner relationships. How do we combat that particular problem? 0700-993-993-993, 01465-7190. And yes, you can talk to me about our first story as well. For our first story, you heard a federal commissioner from the RMAFC get on TV to defend their recommendation to increase salaries of public servants by 114%. Now, of course, the presidency is denying this. Presidency says we haven't approved this. But you heard from the horse's mouth himself. 99.3, hello.
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 Hello. Good afternoon, Sandra.
Good afternoon. Welcome. What's your name?
Hello, Sandra. Can you?
Yes, I can hear you. What's your name, ma'am?
Okay, I am struggling to hear you, but I will. My name is Polanle. I am over the moon excited about the rape
conviction.
The judgment.
Yes.
You know, it's high time that whether it's the man or the woman, people must pay the maximum sentence for overstepping their boundaries. You know, we have a culture that wishes it away, especially when it's intimate partner violence.
Yes.
This is everything. This is a fantastic precedent. And, you know, and usually you would think that it would be a female judge.
Yeah.
But it's
it was a
interesting
male
that
judge.
it's a male judge.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's very, but also for...
Oh no, the connection isn't great anymore. I don't know what's happening with that, but I do hope you call back. I want to hear the rest of what you had to say. But yes, it's interesting that it's a male judge. 19.3?
Good afternoon.
Good
My
afternoon.
name is Obina, calling from Aja.
Obina from Aja, welcome.
Yeah, so I want to quickly contribute on the federal commissioner.
Yes, go ahead, please.
So did you say that the presidency is denying the information that the federal commissioner is giving?
The presidency is saying that they haven't approved it. They're denying that it has been approved.
You see, I don't know the kind of country we are. It's not even up a month. The presidency has started denying information coming from a federal commissioner.
Well, to be fair, the federal commissioner also did not clarify whether or not it has been approved. He just said that this is what they recommended.
I don't just know where they are taking us to. I don't just know. This early stage, we started hearing loggerhead. This one said, this one is denying. Man, I must say, I just pray for God to give me money so that I can jackpot from this country and stop hearing all these things.
All right, thank you very much for calling. 99.3.
I am sorry, Lady Sandra.
What's your name, sir?
My name is Prince Wise, calling you from Oshodi. Good afternoon.
Talk to me.
Yeah. You see, I want to talk about that commissioner first.
Yes, please.
Who sent that message? Now, we are talking of reducing the salary of politicians. And the man is not coming out to say this. We Nigeria, if we just use only one language, I'm telling you, to say, I won't say it. If I say it, if 1 million will say it, the man will get out of job. Why? Why someone so wicked? When we are talking of subsidy, we are talking of pains, and this one want to give those politicians that make a lot of money. Even though the time of democracy we are practicing today, they made that mistake in 1979, where they approached this type of democracy borrowed from America. So expensive and tailored with corruption. What are we talking about? So for me, I want Mr. President to tell that man, shut up. This is what you say. It should be permanent in your stomach and it's not for me to tell anymore. And finally, Sandra, the man sentenced to death penalty, very good and very good and very good. Good afternoon to you, my dear.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for calling. All right, let me bring you our final story. This one takes us to Sokoto State. Governor Ahmad Aliyu decided to sneak into a public hospital to see what service is really like. We see governors show up at government offices all the time, but in this case, he didn't give advance notice. Also, he didn't even drive in his convoy. Instead, he showed up in a keke. Nobody knew he was in the keke, so he was able to get right into the wards without anybody quickly doing eye service. So he saw for himself. And apparently he was shocked by what he saw. The Government House press statement said, quote, "The unscheduled visit, which lasted for over an hour, offered the governor an opportunity to see things for himself." He said patients in most of the wards visited by the governor were found using torchlights because of absence of light in the hospital. Some of the nurses we met in the hospital were either sleeping in their stations or sitting outside the wards because of absence of light and the fear of mosquito bites. Some of them interviewed by the governor revealed that their wards had been without light for the past 9 months. End quote. Governor Liu himself said, quote, "This is unbelievable. I cannot believe this. How could a hospital operate without electricity? See how patients and their relatives are being subjected to all kinds of hazards." End quote. So now the governor is starting a probe into fixing the problems at the hospital. Now here's why I'm talking about this. I want us to talk about monitoring and evaluation, because you have governors and presidents often expressing shock like this. You know, they say that they approve money for things to be done and these things don't get done. They say they cannot be everywhere at once, so they need to trust people to deliver on the work, give feedback where there's a problem, and that's where things break down. So my question is, what should governors and other chief executives be doing differently to improve how they monitor activities below them? Because they can't be everywhere at once. They also can't spend every day inside keke, going from hospital to hospital, school to school, project to project. So how should they make sure they have reliable eyes and ears everywhere? At what point do their attempts to monitor things also become eye service? That's another question. Because is a governor using keke to inspect a hospital also doing eye service for his voters? Should he be focusing instead on more systemic monitoring systems? How you see them? 0700 993 993 993. 01465 7190. We've got WhatsApp as well. WhatsApp is 080 959 75805. Hi, good evening. Hello? Hello?
Hello, Sandra.
Hi, how are you?
Good afternoon. Well done.
Good afternoon. What's your name, ma'am?
My name is Amaka from Agbapala.
Amaka, welcome. Talk to me.
Thank you. My sister, what I'm hearing, this one baffles me a lot.
Okay.
You see that man that they sentenced for life imprisonment or something like that?
Yes.
It sounds good to him.
Okay.
It sounds very good to him so that others will learn lessons.
Okay.
Because this particular incident is too rampant now.
Right.
So it's not good for him. Okay, the next one concerning the presidency and the review of their salary. See what we find ourselves in. You can now see what we find ourselves in. Okay? So I think they said that they are more than that they don't need Nigerians' money to survive. That is what the wife said, that they don't need Nigerians' money to survive. Okay, it has not gotten to 2 months that you enter, you became president, and now see what that is coming out from the president from the president's office. And he's denying it. How can he deny it? If he's not aware of it, the man cannot come out and say it. See what we find ourselves in. When we are dying here, they remove subsidy. People are dying of hunger. My sister, people are dying of hunger because they don't know what we are facing. They don't know what common man is facing. They think that everything is easy because we kept quiet, because we not go for protest and all that. They think all is good all is well for masses. So people are dying in hospitals. People are dying because of hospital bills. And see what they come up with. They want to increase their profits again. And they slash their money. As in people that fear God, immediately you enter the office, you take the situation of things, slash your money, slash it. It doesn't take you anything. You say you're okay. If you slash it, will you die? You've already finished training your children. Your wife is comfortable. Everybody is comfortable on your own side. Think about the little ones in Nigeria that doesn't have anything. My sister, I don't know.
Amaka, thank you very much for calling. 99.3. Hello? Is anyone there? All right, call us back if you can. Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, Sandra.
How are you?
I'm fine.
What's your name?
And you?
I'm very well. What's your name?
This is Remy.
Remy,
from
welcome.
Akoka.
Talk to me.
I heard the commissioner. He said the salary. He said the allowance remains the same. The man knew Nigerians are vast to knowledge. That was why he said that. Is the allowance not tied to the salary? Is the allowance not a certain percentage to the salary?
Yes.
If someone was earning 5 naira and he should receive 20% of that 5 naira annually, and now he's earning 100 naira and he's still going to receive certain percentage of that, is that not an increment in allowance as well?
Yes, it is.
So who is fooling who? They know, say Nigerians, they know us very well. They understand us so well. Someone was saying, why should that man have said what he said? One of the callers said to. That I shouldn't have said to. You know, people, they tend to defend these people. I knew this was going to happen, Sandra.
Okay.
That was why I never wanted them to emerge as the party in power. Do you expect someone who gave himself a jumbo pay as retirement plan to now change overnight? And Sandra,
okay,
he never did that when he was a governor for 8 years. He's not the kind of person who is pro cutting cost of governance. You will need him for 8 years. You now think he's going to change overnight. He's going to tell you never knew about this when he's going to speak. Just wait for him. He will tell you, I wasn't aware. And his defenders will tell you too that he was not aware. During 30 days, 30 days in power, they removed subsidies. The one on education they removed. Naira, they devalued Naira. Their percentage went up. 7.5 VAT on diesel and fuel. In the next few days, electricity power to be go up. In just 30 days. The man is really hitting the ground running.
All right, Remy, thank you very much for calling. Okay. Now, of course, we have other people reacting to this news about the potential increasing salaries for public servants. One of them is Peter Obi. Peter Obi, the LP presidential candidate. He tweeted a strong criticism of the pay raise. He said, quote, I learned with great reservation the approval of a 114% increase in the salaries of elected politicians, including the president, vice president, governors, lawmakers, as well as judicial and public office holders by the RMAFC. This is not the appropriate time for such salary increment, if it is at all necessary. We are living in a time when an average Nigerian is struggling with many harsh economic realities, and with over 130 million Nigerians now living in poverty, this is a moment when recent reform measures by the government have increased living costs astronomically. One would expect the leaders and public officers to to focus on cutting the cost of governance, alleviating the sufferings of Nigerians. This moment calls for creative ways of pulling the majority out of poverty. In the immortal words of Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, what touches us ourselves shall be last served. The leaders, therefore, should prioritize what affects the masses and those on the lower strata of society over themselves. The sacrifice at this time in our nation should be borne by the leaders. The increment should be reversed immediately, and the savings should be devoted to fixing education, healthcare, and poverty alleviation, especially in the remote rural areas. End quote. ASU is also criticizing the move, especially since government has been telling them that there's no money to meet their demands. Their statement says, quote, while the staff unions in the tertiary education sector have been negotiating a wage increase with the government since 2017, and the government showed a lack of commitment to the process, the same government is busy awarding themselves such a pay rise. The citizens are still suffering from the impact of the removal of subsidy on PMS, increase in electricity tariff, and the attendant implications on their well-being, only to see such reward, which can only encourage opulence and oppression by the political class. It is an affront to labor, as the labor movement is still trying to come to terms with the reality of the economic situation in the country and negotiating some palliatives from the same government. It is disappointing, end quote. That's what ASU had to say. So another question to think about is, how will this affect ASU's negotiations with the federal government? Will this push ASU to take a harder line? Especially when you're hearing the commission defending their decision. Hassan Usman said, inflation, they hit everybody. So why shouldn't office holders get some relief? Now, you may be asking, why should office holders get relief before everyday Nigerians? Usman also said that they didn't increase allowances. All we did was increase basic salary. There was the answer there with the R. The only percentage of salary. Because if bonus like percentage of salaries, won't bonus automatically go up. No, they will. So by increasing salaries without reducing the percentage of the allowances, didn't the commission also increase allowances? We'll take a break. Don't go away.
Now, Seth, an idea here with no money, no job, even to feed Seth, no problem.
Brotherly, overthinking no fit solve problem, my guy. Now online trading that they run, and now Square Financial teach me.
Square Financial?
Now,
how?
Why don't you reserve a spot in their next free training by sending yes to 0904-859-9688. Squared Financial is a reputable company, and they will teach you how to start online trading and make profit. To reserve a spot in their next free training, send yes to 0904-859-9688.
The round table is back. I recall that the former Minister for Interior, Abdulrahman Dambazao, said that people go in as dogs and come out as lions.
I don't think the Nigerian government actually took the time to look at it from a holistic perspective.
And it's just really painful because it seems as though that, with every new government, we tend to miss the previous government.
It's just like you put human beings to live as pigs inside a place. How do you correct such? I don't even know who gave them the idea of changing the name.
The round table. This June 28th, 10 a.m. to 12 noon, 29th, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., and 30th, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Be part of the table on 99.3 Lagos, 92.3 Port Harcourt, and 95.1 Abuja. Let's talk.
I would just say that we're all stakeholders in the business of building Nigeria.
Take charge of what you hear and when to listen.
All at your convenience. It's there on our mobile app and website.
Download the mobile app on iOS and Play Store or visit www.nigeriainfo.fm.
99.3. Let's talk. Attention all. Let's gather at the public square. where the significant political procedures are talked about.
If you want local government autonomy, administrative and financial, who you vote in your House of Assembly or governor matters.
Offering the unique perspective and valuable insights on the topics that shape our country.
If citizens break the deadlock of governors capturing State House of Assembly with sponsored candidates, there needs to be democracy at the state level.
Engaging in lively, tailored discussions, no matter what your political views may be.
Nobody's religion is going to improve the living standard of citizens, that's for sure.
Tune in to the show that keeps you in the know. Public Square with Rotimi Sakori. Back on air from July 7th, Fridays, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We are back.
We're back. On 99.3 Nigeria Info.
We've got messages. This one says the governors should give their commissioners appraisal. Let everyone come and report to him every week with video evidence of the projects they embarked upon weekly. And everyone that is incompetent should be sacked immediately. He should also have a mystery shopping practice with various sectors that report directly to him as governor. All right. Thank you, Freddie, for that message. We have this one here. From Christopher Inota. Christopher says, please educate your callers with information available. Salary review was last queried by the last Vice President, Oshimbajo. Okay. Well, listeners, you have heard from Christopher Inota. We've got another one here from Therapy. Therapy says, please educate people well. It's not the president that is seeking the increase. It's the commission and the House of Assembly. Okay. Thank you, Therapy, for your message. We've got this one here from Stephen. Stephen says, a good leader leads by showing example. The Sokoto governor is not here for eye service. The man means business for the people. Let other governors take the same step for the betterment of Nigeria. All right. Thank you very much for your message. We've got Reverend Adeyemi from Ayetoro, who says our government asks the citizens to sacrifice so that they can have more sacrifice to consume. God will rescue us from these people. Okay. That's a catchy one that has been going around. We've got Peter Ayorinde, who says, do I have time to read Peter's message? Peter says, even I had question marks on my head in reaction to what that commissioner said on politicians' salary increase. They see us as beggars, poverty minions, simpletons, nitwits and dummies who don't understand how hard they work, powerless citizens, shout, rest and forget people, ungrateful for the little they give. These people believe we should be grateful for what they do to us as masters and our monarchs. Guess what? We the people do nothing but selfishly mind our business. That's why a politician will think that 5,000 or 20,000 is important to majority of Nigerians for poverty alleviation. Peter Ayorinde, thank you very much for your message. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll bring you Eyewitness. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili. You're listening to Hard Facts on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Don't go away.
It's 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock.
And I want to assume that you would run because I want to give the listeners context for the conversation.
In 2019, you were running mate to Atiku Abubakar. What did you learn then that you will not repeat this time?
Yes, when is the president coming out to address us?
There's a few things. One, I have a burden and a passion for young people.
The fact that you have elected a man does not mean then you begin to order him around. The president will do whatever is good for the country at any given time.
Mr. Adeshino, isn't the president responsible to the people?
What should the next president do to root out stakeholders who are complicit?
You fire those. Those that need to be fired are fired. It's looking like a brand new Chelsea, attacking with so much fluidity. And what can you say about that, Martin? I know you follow Chelsea quite closely.
I live close to the Chelsea training ground. That's what you mean by that. I'm not a
And I want to assume that you would run because I want to give the listeners context for the conversation.
In 2019, you were running mate to Atiku Abubakar. What did you learn then that you will not repeat this time?
Yes, when is the president coming out to address us?
There's a few things. One, I have a burden and a passion for young people.
The fact that you have elected a man does not mean then you begin to order him around. The president will do whatever is good for the country at any given time.
Mr. Adeshino, isn't the president responsible to the people?
What should the next president do to root out stakeholders who are complicit?
You fire those. Those that need to be fired are fired. It's looking like a brand new Chelsea, attacking with so much fluidity. And what can you say about that, Martin? I know you follow Chelsea quite closely.
I live close to the Chelsea training ground. That's what you mean by that. I'm not.
And I want to assume that you would run because I want to give the listeners context for the conversation.
In 2019, you were running mate to Atiku Abubakar. What did you learn then that you will not repeat this time?
Yes, when is the president coming out to address us?
There's a few things. One, I have a burden and a passion for young people.
The fact that you have elected a man does not mean then you begin to order him around. The president will do whatever is good for the country at any given time.
Mr. Adeshino, isn't the president responsible to the people?
What should the next president do to root out stakeholders who are complicit?
You fire those. Those that need to be fired are fired. It's looking like a brand new Chelsea, attacking with so much fluidity. And what can you say about that, Martin? I know you follow Chelsea quite closely.
I live close to the Chelsea training ground. That's what you mean by that. I'm not.